We're heading for Valldal, to a mountainside overlooking the stunning Norwegian fjordlands.
The landscape may be typical, the house we're headed for is anything but. This one breaks all the rules.
Almost like an eagle's nest built on a precipitous cliff, this house is the work of renowned Norwegian architects who have a reputation for innovation. This is Summer House.
It's quite incredible, actually.
It's great.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's like a grown-up's treehouse, really, isn't it?
I mean, I think a complex site, steeply sloping, with a view in the trees, for me, personally, is perfect.
There's no road access here, but hopefully the house will be worth the hike. I've seen houses built into rock, but this is the first rock I've ever seen that's built into a house.
This has got to be one of the most exciting rooms I've ever been in, and not at all what I expected. And the fact that it just slides into that concrete fireplace. But this is incredible. This rock, you can see the strata all the way through, and it acts as a backplate here on the fire, so the heat will bounce off into the room. This is so thrilling to be in. It's really, it's a work of art.
By shaping the house around the cliff face, the architect has created a series of volumes that redefine our notion of what rooms are. This isn't simply one big house subdivided by internal walls. This is more a series of interlinked spaces and pods built around the rock. The entrance leads you into a huge double-height main living space with its striking exposed rock face. Then, traversing the mountain, is a dining area and an open-plan kitchen that flow out onto a deck and an infinity pool that overhang the cliff face. And of course, there's a sauna. A level up, held up on timber columns, are 5 bedrooms with their own balconies, a green roof, and those incredible views across the fjord.
Look at this. I think this is probably the greatest house I've ever been in, and I've only been here for a few moments.
The man responsible for this design is Jan Jensen, whose award-winning projects have earned him an international reputation. His work draws on Norwegian modernism while connecting deeply with the landscape.
We tried as much as possible to adjust the building to the site, not opposite way, which is the usual way in architecture.
What about the experience of being in this forest?
I think for me and for the client, one important aspect was the memory of play. When you were a small boy, you built small houses up in the trees. So it's kind of this dream of this extreme freedom you had to do anything up there.
Allowing the cliff face to flow into the living room meant cutting a perfectly straight channel before making wooden templates and individual glass panels to fit, so that all you can see is either glass or rock, and no frame. Fairly basic materials like plywood are all on display with steel and glass. Even the staircase is cold, exposed, mild steel, but with a leather binding that adds warmth.
I think it's beautiful that you have like individual steps. All of them are different. I think it gives architecture a richness that you cannot get when you conceal everything.
The entire experience of this house is a revelation. Even usually mundane spaces like the kitchen are adventurous and dramatic.
Much of this building's vitality is in the materials, whether refined or raw. Like the thousands of split shingles which add to the treehouse feel and connect you directly to the forest outside.
And you've used cedar shingles on the outside?
It's the core of the pine tree, and it keeps for a long time, much longer than the outer part of the wood. And it's cut by an axe. That's why it's kind of rugged. And the reason is that it will keep for a much longer time because you don't cut the fibers.
It's in the bedroom pods where you really feel the sensation of living in the tree canopy. And with no curtains, one could easily spot the Vikings coming up the fjord in their longboats.
This close relationship to nature was an essential aspect to Jan's design, who resisted suggestions to dynamite the bedrock to make the construction simpler. Summer House is a really elemental home. The site is very natural and untamed. The architect has used basic materials, including glass, concrete and steel, very delicately, and in a way that redefines what a house can be.
I mean, it's saying a lot, this house, but what does this house say about Norwegian architecture?
It says that you don't always have to hark back to an idea about the past and a vernacular. It says that you can just respond to the actual fabric of the geography, and there you have a truly Norwegian house, because it couldn't be anywhere else.